But I went down a rabbit hole and looked at his social media page, and there's like him icing a cake. So he's got these like massive muscles, and he's like icing a cake.
It's so good.
I was like, this is
that.
the best. I love this guy.
Three, two, one. How was that one? That was a really fat clap. But my hands are sore now. I'm sure it's fine.
Shake it off, pal.
Shake it off. Didn't she have a concert recently?
Oh, it's coming up. I'm going to the concert.
Are you going to Taylor Swift, Nat?
Potentially. I might have a spare ticket.
Oh, you could scalp that for so much money. You get so much
It's not what
money.
Taylor would have wanted, Thavy.
Exactly.
You've got the golden ticket. They're gonna make a Willy Wonka movie out of you. You mean run, Nat, run. Anyway,
I'm gonna do the intro. Hello,
Close the
everybody.
door. Sorry.
Damn it.
Can you close the door, please? Okay, go for it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with H. With me, as always, is my co-host Thavy. Hey there, Thavy.
hey, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's another year of romance and capitalism.
Yeah.
And massive consumerism. Yeah.
Hope you're having a nice night, wherever you are, whoever you're with. We have a special Valentine's Day episode today, don't we, Thavy?
I mean, is it special? I mean, we kind of just have done it every year now.
Yeah, we've done this
we did
twice already, right? So, it's special to me, Thavy. We're going to do it every year that this show is running.
All right.
We are, of course, going to talk about Single Inferno Season 3, currently streaming on Netflix. We've invited our regular guest for one of these shows. Welcome back to the show, Nat. Hello, Nat.
Hi, I'm back.
Yay.
Season 3.
Yep.
So exciting.
Season 3.
The best season so far.
The best and worst season so far, in my opinion.
Yeah, some might say that.
yeah.
Sure.
I'm ready to share my observations on Season 3.
Yes, you've been pretty excited to... Because we do have a group chat, and you have expressed a big desire to splurge your opinions. You said there's a lot to talk about.
Well,
it's
always a fun time having Nat on to talk about Single Inferno and Bling Empire. If we ever get to do another Bling Empire episode, I don't know if that'll happen.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait for that one too.
It's been cancelled, isn't it?
I know how much Thavy loves Bling
Yeah, like us, there's only so much reality TV I can take in a year. Singles Inferno is probably the exception. I think
you have special parameters for watching Singles Inferno, don't you, Thavy? You need to get in a particular state of mind in order to watch this show.
Yeah. I do have a crack team of experts that I watch this show with. And I do have to ingest a copious amount of alcohol to get through it. But it's made me enjoy the show because every time I think of Singles Inferno, I think of hanging out with buddies, eating some nice food, and then just drinking a lot of we make a lot of like cocktails.
Do you make like tropical themed cocktails?
Oh yeah, we kind of did. We made like what was it? It was like a daiquiri kind of thing.
That's pretty tropical.
A margarita. Yeah. Either way, it's good, and we get pretty drunk. We play drinking games and stuff.
Yeah, I think that was like the first episode we watched together. You had like a bottle of like whiskey next to you, and you were just like pouring yourself like shots of whiskey.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we actually watched the first 3 episodes together. We were in a holiday home during the break.
Oh, yeah.
And Nat managed to witness the first-hand experience of what it's like when I'm watching Singles Inferno, in which well, we drank a lot that night.
Yeah,
that was.
I remember. I remember the morning after as well. Yeah. Oh dear.
I hadn't seen you. You didn't seem that drunk, Dan. I don't think I'd seen you that sick after drinking in a while.
Yeah,
must be out of
practice. Yeah, metabolism ain't what it used to be, Thavy.
Yeah, it's weird because I definitely know that my drinking has slowed down a lot, but I was surprisingly fine the next day until like a certain point where it did hit me, and then it's like, all right, we're gonna go home. We're the 2-hour drive home. I was like, oh shit,
totally worth it.
It was worth it. Yeah.
Well, if people haven't listened to the previous episode we did with Nat for Singles Inferno Season 2, these chats are just about our thoughts and feelings about the show, and it's generally spoiler heavy. So if you haven't watched this season of Singles Inferno and you want to go into it fresh without spoilers, probably go watch it before listening to this, because we will be dropping big time spoilers as to the ending of it. We've talked a little bit about how we watched it. Shall we just jump into initial thoughts? First couple of episodes, what do you guys think? Were you into it? Not so much as the previous seasons?
I think Gwan-hee stuck out for all of us. Slit eyebrows.
Eyebrow guy. I did have a bit of an immediate reaction to Gwan-hee when it came out.
I think he was intentionally abrasive. His interview, his initial interview was like, "I'm gonna be the best on this show. I'm gonna be such a star on this show," and that, coupled with his slit eyebrow, makes you immediately dislike him, right? I think that was the vibe he was going for.
He, to my dismay, ends up being the main star.
Yeah, he wasn't wrong.
The show.
It wasn't an empty boast.
Yeah, it's weird because Gwan-hee is probably the most memorable because, well, Dan has been kind enough to write notes because I've forgotten like almost everyone. The only like people I can remember is Gwan-hee and Hae-sun and Ha-jung a little bit. Hae-sun is like one of the first girls as well.
The first date.
Yeah. Who probably remained like my favorite like person from the first episode till the last episode.
Despite her inexplicable attraction to Gwan-hee, you still like her?
Despite that, it was just like, I mean, should we just talk about Gwan-hee? Because he's obviously,
sure.
I mean, we're just going to give him some more airtime.
So those of you that haven't watched this show and for some reason are listening to this, Gwan-hee is a professional basketballer by profession, playing for the KBL. I think he plays, I wrote it down, shooting guard for the LG Sakers, whatever any of that means. I don't know basketball. But he basically develops a relationship with 3 of the girls on the island. So the first one he kind of interacts with is Hae-sun, as we've mentioned. Hae-sun is a student at AY University. And he also interacts with a girl named Ha-jung. Ha-jung is an office worker. And he also interacts with Minji, who was a late addition to the show. I think she comes through in about halfway through the season. She is an aspiring news anchor and also a college student at AY University. So all 3 of these girls, basically, they really like Gwan-hee and they want to become a couple with him. So he's kind of torn between the 3.
Yeah, that's the main arc, and everyone else is just kind of
yeah. I mean, it basically turns into the Gwan-hee show at a point.
I mean, who stuck out to you, Nat, aside from Gwan? Because there are, like, just looking at the list now, there are actually a few that I kind of remember.
To be honest, no one stuck out. It was the Gwan-hee show. He had like main character energy from the very start, and it like lasted all the way to the end of the
eyebrow slit, Thavy. I'm telling you, it gives you powers or something.
Man, I was like pretty sick of Gwan-hee. I don't think Gwan-hee is like a great person.
Yeah, we'll probably get.
He's a bit of a player.
Yeah, we'll probably get more into that later. But I want to know what did you think about Gwan-hee, Nat? Maybe initial thoughts compared to thoughts later on.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with Gwan-hee. He was fine in the first episode. Like, he's a professional basketball player. It's pretty unique. He's funny. He's probably one of the more funny characters on the show. So I had no problem with him. He goes on a date with Hae-sun, I think, in the first episode. So it's pretty good. Yep. No problem. Okay. And then it went downhill as the episodes went on.
He was just a funny guy?
He was a funny guy. He was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Had no problem with him.
Is that why he was so popular? Because, like, I don't even think he's the best looking by, like, a long way.
I would agree with that, yeah. He's certainly tall.
He's a very, like, average looking guy.
I think he's a good mix of, like, he's got height, but also he's got, like, a approachable and likable face.
You know what it is?
It's the eyebrow slit.
I think it's the bad boy energy.
Bad boy energy.
If you think about all the other guys, they're all good boys and clean.
Yeah, maybe. But I thought Koreans hate, like, the bad boy look. Like, people don't they like cleaned up, like, grooms, really pretty guys? Isn't that the thing? Am I been proven wrong?
No,
what are you basing that on, Thavy?
I'm just basing that on just
any number of K-dramas where the main character is a clean-cut guy.
I've seen some people, like, just talk about the general Korean beauty standard when it comes to guys, and they mentioned, like, they don't usually like the really I'm not going to say they like masculine guys, but they don't like the kind of rough, rugged look. Like Asia itself doesn't really like, well, East Asia doesn't really like guys with beards or just kind of a little bit unkempt.
I agree with that. I think he's bad boy, like, vibe or aura, not necessarily looks, apart from the split eye, like, you know, the slit eyebrow.
The slit eyebrow, yes.
I think more of his energy, you know, he was
I mean, he had a lot of confidence.
Well, who was the guy from last season who ended up being a judge this time around?
Jin Young?
Whose name is Dexter
Dex
or something?
Dex,
yeah. So he had the same energy as Gwan-hee, but he's a good-looking dude, you know? So I was like, and I guess that's why he ended up being the main
you were like, fair play.
Yeah.
But with Gwan-hee.
I don't know. I don't understand, like, Gwan-hee. And I didn't find him, like, particularly, like, charming compared to... Well, I guess, I mean, if I'm going to compare it to everyone else in the show, he probably does... Because everyone I found... And I think this is a criticism of this season. Everyone is just, like... In terms of who I'm compelled to follow, is just very mid. Yeah. You know, I couldn't distinguish anyone from any other people except the stupid nicknames that we gave them, like neck guy and shoulder guy.
Yeah, that's why I wrote the names down, Thavy, so we could remember.
Yeah. I do remember, like, Harbin because he's a bit of a loser, and Jin-suk because he's a super tank barista and he has a funny run. So that's what I can remember. But I honestly remember the girls even less in this season. Which is, like, you know, I would be paying more attention to because I'm a guy. But yeah, I can only really remember Hae-sun, Ha-jung, and Minji because I don't like Minji very much.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah.
No, I'm the same. I don't really... They all blended in, not to be, like, rude, but they all kind of blended in to one another, and I couldn't distinguish between the girls or the guys. It was a bit bland.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's weird because there were some twists. Like, the first twist that happens was that there were two islands, and I remember when we were watching it, we were like, oh, maybe the budget's gone down because... some things that I was let down by was Paradise was just in a city. Like, it wasn't like an island resort. So I was kind of like, okay, did they, like, lose the budget? Or I'm assuming that they had a place and then the place was like, nah, you can't film there. So all right, let's just go into the city. And Inferno, they made it, like, harsher, but less interesting because they're not like cooking anything. They were just eating like what, canned chicken or something.
Yeah,
and then you lost a lot
it's
of
a sure sign that the budget has gone down when they're just eating carrots, just raw carrots and canned tuna.
Yeah, raw carrots. Yeah. So I think they were trying to make Inferno more like of a punishment because dudes in season 2 were like, man, I would have just liked to stay in Inferno.
Yeah.
So they're just like, they didn't want that to be.
I think from memory, that was one of my criticisms of last season was that Inferno wasn't enough of a punishment.
Yeah.
But then
you lost a lot of the interactions. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was harsher, but it was just less interesting as well.
Yeah. They didn't have a chef this time around.
They must have listened to your feedback. They may have listened to this podcast. If they,
maybe they listened to the episode.
The Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, I assume they are listening. You better be listening close to this season's critiques. I want to see improvements in season 4. But no, I agree. I think all the stuff. Oh, I mean, some of the stuff that happened on Inferno. I think the strength of this season was more in the personal dramas than anything else. Like the games weren't that interesting either. I mean, the settings weren't that interesting. Like you said, it's just a hotel for Paradise. Like there wasn't much of a like wow factor, the same kind of wow factor as last season. And a lot of the time they were going to like the same place, So I have a feeling maybe there's like a hotel sponsorship involved, probably like funding a bit of the show.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because I feel like they went to the same hotels a couple of times. But I think the main, reason this season is more interesting than the other seasons is the personal interactions. I mean, there is, of course, everything that's happening with Gwan-hee. That was pretty interesting, in fairness.
It was interesting and also like super boring at the same time.
And frustrating.
And pretty frustrating
to watch.
Gwan-hee is a really frustrating person to watch. But I think that adds enjoyment to the show, honestly. He turns into the guy that you kind of like to hate. There is also Jin-suk that you mentioned, Jin-suk, the buff barista. He develops an early relationship with a girl named Min-young, who turns out to be a Pilates instructor. I feel like what happened between them is pretty interesting as well.
There's some drama to it, but it kind of gets pretty much resolved. Midway through the season.
Yeah. I feel like he is pretty funny as well. He's my favorite player of this season, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Jin-suk was my favorite player because he is just he seems like a pretty genuine guy. And he's kind of got like just an odd mannerism to him and how he carries himself. He's just has this one look. He's never really vulnerable or happy or excited. He's just, well, I mean, we called this guy Blue Steel guy because he just has one look.
Yes, it's a pout.
He just has one look with the
pout and a squint.
But he's kind of cute.
Yeah, he's so buff and like huge, but he's actually very approachable, nice. He's actually my favorite player as well.
Yeah.
We all had the same taste in guys.
I like the idea of him using his muscles to make little espressos.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's that kind of like ironic nickname.
Have you guys seen any of the social media footage of him where people are just filming him at work?
Yeah.
He looks so upset, just being filmed.
Oh, really?
He's just trying to do his job, and people are just sticking their phones in his face.
I haven't seen that, but I went down a rabbit hole and looked at his social media page, and there's like him icing a cake. So he's got these like massive muscles and he's like icing a cake.
It's so good.
I was like, this is the best. I love this guy.
That's kind of the thing, though.
It's like an anime character.
There's like a subsection of people on those social media sites like Instagram or TikTok who are like super muscly, masculine dudes, but they do like baking or something. And they're very good with really like dainty decoration. They make like very kind of unhealthy food, but they are like super tank.
It's like those guys in Yakitate, Japan that work out in order
like
to bake bread.
Yeah. So it's funny. He's probably a guy that like I would enjoy hanging out with. And the second most memorable one. But just the other dudes I I really don't have very much to say.
Yeah, the other dudes, like you said, are pretty generically handsome.
Except for Harbin, because he's.
I mean, even Harbin is generically handsome. You can't say he's not handsome, right? He's just.
But he's like. Harbin is such a fucking weirdo. And when I found out that he was an actor, I was like, yeah, of course.
Oh, he's an actor?
Yeah,
he's an actor.
He had a small role in that drama My Demon recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it makes a lot of sense because a lot of actors are kind of socially awkward. I think
He peaked in one of the episodes. You know the episode where they give out candies.
That was really funny.
And all the girls really gave their candy to Harbin.
He basically committed seppuku that episode.
Yeah. So the scenario is the girls put a candy in the mailbox of the guy that they want to take to Inferno, and they can give as many candies as they want, really. So going into this game, everybody was expecting Gwan-hee to get a lot of candies, obviously, because he's got all the girls at this point. But actually, it was Harbin that took her most of the candies. He got like a total of 6 compared to most of the guys that got 1 or 2. So he was over the moon because initially he thought he was pretty unpopular. But then I think the 6 candies went to his head, right?
It went to his head, man. And he...
It was just a really funny. There was a really funny montage because they're sitting around a bonfire, right? And there's just a really funny montage of him just being really weird, like acting really weirdly.
Wasn't he trying to distance himself from them so he could try to look cool or something?
Was he? I think. Well, because I kind of rewatched a little bit of the episode, but I think the girls were talking about it the day after. They were reminiscing about the bonfire the night before. And they were all talking about Harbin and how he was acting very weird at the bonfire. I think what he was doing was pretending to be a host at the bonfire.
Right.
So he was pretending he was the host of a TV show. And
so it was being the MC.
He was being funny, but it wasn't really funny. And then he walked off down the beach by himself, holding, I don't know, a bottle of alcohol.
I think he might have just gotten too drunk, huh? I think he probably had a few too many celebratory drinks and just, got better.
I got a lot of actor friends, and I do love them. Yeah, actors are weird people. I'm not going to specifically talk about those anecdotes because they're kind of private, but yeah. Actors, they can either be pretty chill or usually quite reserved, as you said, or they're just kind of they go extra with being the extrovert. I think it's more so the privileged ones, and then they don't really know how to interact with people. Because Harbin, after this stint, becomes the least popular person
very quickly.
He basically gets no airtime until the last day to get a chance to get to paradise. Yeah, one of the girls picks him out of pity, and we celebrated. We're like, yeah, Harbin, ooh, you're not gonna just not have gone to paradise.
Yeah, we were like, finally, he's gonna get some screen time. Finally, we get to see what he's all about.
And then this just could just be the way it was edited, but he just goes on and tries to not talk to Ha-jong and kind of closes himself off. And what he says is, I feel so comfortable with you that I don't need to talk to you. And it's dude.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell? That doesn't make sense in the standpoint of a regular conversation, and it doesn't make sense in the standpoint of a reality TV show, because you are not giving anything to anyone, So he ends up having maybe 5 minutes of airtime in paradise because he just doesn't really say very much to Ha-jong.
What was your take on that situation, Nat?
Well, what I saw is it was a date setting. So I think they're sitting at the dinner table, and Ha-jong is oh, Harbin, before we got to paradise, you said you really wanted to talk to me and ask me lots of questions. And, a date is about finding out about one another. So tip, if you're going on a date over the Valentines period, ask questions.
Ask questions, yeah.
But I think Harbin's like, I have no questions to ask. I am so comfortable. We don't need to talk anymore. It was so odd.
Well, like, I don't understand, yeah.
Do you think that he just didn't have anything to say and then used that comfortable thing as an excuse to just not say anything?
Can't explain.
I think
read
he's
him.
just socially awkward.
Can't read him.
I think, yeah. Because you are one-on-one with, a person, and they obviously both seem quite amicable, and they're both good-looking. Don't you think you want to take the chance to talk to them, to pick their brain a little bit? It's not that hard. Just ask anything. Just small talk, then just see where it goes. I don't know.
Ha Jong was so. She had massive regrets picking him for the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for either of them, because then Ha Jong gets even less screen time as well, because there's nothing to talk about.
Well, I was thinking if anybody is going to give him screen time, it's going to be Ha Jong, because Ha Jong is probably the most interesting of all the women on the show, right?
She's pretty chatty. She's quite chatty. Yeah.
She kind of gets along with most of them. She's got a lot to say.
I initially didn't really like Ha Jong that much at first.
Is it because of the eye thing that she does? That was pretty irritating.
Yeah, but then she kind of became a simp for Gwan-hee, and then she started developing emotions, I guess.
What about when she confronts Gwan-hee?
I feel so bad for her.
I was like, it's probably not good in the sense that Korean guys don't like that. But when we watch it, you tell that motherfucker.
Yeah, I feel so bad for her, because before that, there's a bit where the girls are kind of chatting about Gwan-hee in the cabin, right? And they're all talking about the stuff that he's done. It's so rude that he pointed out all three of them, and just the way he talks to them, the way he treats them. And they all came to a consensus that this guy's actually a scumbag. We don't really like this guy. And then the only one to actually confront him about it is Ha Jong, and she gets iced for it. Just totally boxed out for it.
Yeah, she ends up being one of the, I guess it's part of the triangle, the trio of women, but her arc pretty much ends in terms of her chances with Gwan-hee after that. So yeah, I'd say Ha Jong is probably my second favorite one. Just because of that little arc, and I can kind of remember her.
I did like the resolution to that arc, I guess. It's kind of she comes to terms with that.
Closure, yeah.
Yeah, they had a great moment when they first met, but that's probably all it was, I guess.
Yeah.
They're very combative, their relationship. I think there's when they're in paradise, they're going to bed. There's a whole scene where they're going to bed at night, and Gwan-hee doesn't want to sleep in the same room, and he's playing her, and I don't know what kind of girl would find that attractive, that behavior from Gwan-hee.
Isn't that textbook negging?
You got to do it in a balanced way, though.
No, I think he knows what he's doing.
I think must maybe it's a Korean.
The evidence speaks for itself. No, I don't know what to tell you. I thought
it was
either.
a turn off, but then she continued to simp after him, so maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, peeking behind the curtain a little bit, obviously Gwan-hee is a KBL player, which means he had a certain level of fame going into the TV show. Do you guys suspect that maybe some of them knew who he was on the island? And maybe that's what was attracting them to him?
Yeah, maybe. That's interesting, because if the algae sakers are as big in Korea as, I don't know, I'm not sure how big they are or how well known they are.
LG is a pretty big brand.
Yeah, I think maybe some of them knew, but the producers were probably just you're not allowed to say that you know.
I mean, definitely
perhaps,
some of them knew
perhaps,
each other, because Si-eun and Ha Jong knew each other.
Okay.
On some level, I think Ha Jong mentions they had some kind of relationship going into the show. And a few of the female contestants have been contestants on Miss Korea. So we haven't talked about it yet, but Gyu-ri, who is a model.
Is a psycho.
Yeah.
China psycho.
We'll talk to her. We'll talk about her in a bit. But she was a participant in Miss Korea 2022, and Si-eun was the runner-up in Miss Korea 2022. So the same year. Min Young was crowned Miss Korea Busan 2023. And I'm pretty sure Ha Jong was also a contestant in one of the Miss Korea pageants. So they're all beauty queens, basically.
So, like, that's the other thing as well, as we were harkening back before to just the blandness of the contestants. Just the variety of, like, what they do is just model. And that's it. Like, as you were just saying then, you know, there's not much to tell the difference between each of the girls, because in season 2 you had like Nadine, who was the American one, and you had Iso, the cute actress. You had Soki, who was like, she was the Gwan-hee of season 2, I guess. So there are a lot more. I could remember them, but this one is just like, yeah, I'm a model. So it's like, well, what during the reveals? None of the reveals were particularly exciting.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, only two of them, their profession is modeling, Gyu-ri and Si-eun. The others have other stuff going on. Like Ha Jong is an office worker that dabbles in modeling. Min Young is a Pilates instructor, and Hae-sun is a student. So, I mean, they're not all models, but I think maybe they're not physically distinguishable enough. Maybe they all have very similar aesthetics. I'm not sure.
It's like a formula of good-looking Korean player, and they were just repeating this formula, and I couldn't work out who was who after the first episode. They were very good-looking, all of the cast. But yeah, maybe more diversity next season 4.
Yeah.
They need a white guy, yeah.
Oh, they should totally put in a white guy.
Put in a white guy.
That would be great.
That would be great. Ooh.
Speaking fluent Korean. Well, we touched on her. Maybe we should talk about her, Gyu-ri. I guess she's the only one with colored hair on the show, so there's one way you can distinguish her.
Oh, really? I didn't remember that. I just remember because she is crazy when they play the game. And she has crazy eyes.
Well, yeah. I mean, initially, she's very, reserved, I guess. She's kind of just a typical reserved, beautiful person. Pretty quiet, doesn't really say much. And she kind of goes on that steam for a lot of the show until they get to one of the first games. So the game is like they have to take off the hat and the tail off of their opponent, right?
Yeah.
And she goes pretty ham.
Yeah, she goes ham. It ends up being like a final 3.
Did she win? Did she win it? The Gyu-ri?
Yeah, she won that one. Gyu-ri won. Yeah, because it ended up being like Hae-sun versus Gyu-ri, and she goes crazy.
Yeah, Hae-sun falls over in a panic, and then Gyu-ri seizes the opportunity to take off all the shit. Yeah,
she's like the cutesy one, but like has crazy eyes. You know, in How I Met Your Mother, there's like the girls and they like levels of craziness. You can't tell.
I haven't watched that show. Pretty sure Thavy hasn't watched that show.
I'm talking to the wrong
people. Yeah.
I'm more of a Friends guy, if I'm going to be honest.
I'm neither one of those guys.
Thavy's more of an I saw the devil kind of guy. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah, like the cute girl, but behind the eyes, a little bit craziness. And that kind of reveals itself a little bit in that game. But then she switches back to cute pretty quickly. But then there's a moment very late in the show where, so there is a bit of a love triangle between Gyu-ri, Min-woo, and Si-eun. So I think initially Gyu-ri goes on a date with Min-woo to paradise, and they're kind of on a boat. It's a pretty picturesque scene, watching the sunset from this boat, and they get pretty close in that encounter. And then when they get to Inferno again, Gyu-ri tells Min-woo, all right, I'm choosing you. All you have to do is stay put, you know, like just don't wander around, you know, just let's be a couple.
Yeah.
And then Minwoo's like, yeah, sure, okay. but then he meets Si-eun. So Si-eun is a model, runner-up of Miss Korea 2022. And she's liked Minwoo pretty much from the start of the show.
Yeah.
Minwoo is also a model and the youngest in the show. And basically, Si-eun keeps trying to get Minwoo onto Paradise, but she keeps kind of missing out on her opportunity for various reasons. One of the reasons is she's bad at games, but it also seems like their timing is just off at every encounter. They don't end up going to Paradise together, do they?
Nah, they kind of... I think it's just mostly in Inferno, when they love spring, I suppose. It's interesting. I wonder if this was a plot line set up by the producers, considering... Because I had forgotten that they were both models and one of them was a runner-up in the same competition.
So they might have prior beef, you know?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Minwoo kind of develops feelings for Si-eun, which catches Gyu-ri. She's shocked when she hears his confession to her. He's trying to basically let her down gently. And again, she reveals a bit of a crazy side to her, doesn't she?
Yeah. I remember that was the one that they were using in the advertisement when she like takes off the microphone and she's just like, she cuts a bit sick at him.
She compares him to Gyu-ri, which is just a vicious insult at this point.
He's the main character.
Yeah. She basically holds him hostage in the cabin and just won't let him leave. And she gives him a stern talking to. She's basically like, what did I tell you? I told you not to wander around. And what did you do? You wandered around. She gets really upset.
I felt so bad for Minwoo. He was like trapped in that cabin for so long.
Do you reckon that Minwoo probably was going to stay put, but then a producer was probably like, nah, get out, go talk to people.
Nah.
Go stir some.
I think Si-eun really liked Minwoo, and she made a strong effort to get him to
They look like a better couple together. They look like they match.
So,
yeah, both pretty.
Both pretty. $1 a bag of rocks. You know, they fit together. Yeah, I think so. Gyu-ri is also very pretty and also a model.
Yeah.
So
yeah, cute.
She's
cute and crazy. Cute and crazy.
Yeah. Do you think the prior loss to Si-eun in Miss Universe 2022 added to the flames of fury when she lost again to her in the quest for Minwoo's heart?
Maybe.
Wait, so who won Miss Korea?
So Si-eun came runner-up, but Gyu-ri was just a contestant. So presumably
she didn't make it anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, so much
prior
hate.
beef.
Prior beef. Beef. Full stop.
Yeah.
It was a pretty interesting arc to watch in hindsight now. That
there was a lot of
kind of remember it.
telling off, wasn't it? Now that I think about it.
It's good. Yeah, it's a bit of conflict.
Hae-sun even does it as well to Gyu-ri.
That was excellent. That was also
that was excellent.
Yeah,
that
moment.
was it's not something that I usually like to say, but like when we were watching it, like with the gang, we were like,
yes,
yes. I was like, fuck that guy, yes, you tell him. And I was like, yeah, that was cool. One of the last interactions after Paradise, because Hae-sun goes with Gyu-ri 2 times, and she's picked him like 2 times, but then he's still like on the fence, and they're having a conversation about his feelings between her and Min-kyu, and Hae-sun just basically just tells him like, look, I've done everything that I fucking can do. Like, it's up to you now. Like, I can't do anything more. Like, if you just want to be with her, be with her. Like, I don't really give a shit anymore. And I was just like, yeah, fucking, that's cool, man. Like, I think Hae-sun is probably my favorite contestant out of Singles Inferno, just as a whole, of what I've seen. She seems to be the most genuine person on the show, I think. Because most of the people, a lot of it is an act. especially with Min-kyu, who will probably
Min-ji, you mean? Min-kyu is the Korean Coast Guard Special Rescue Team. I think he's probably a genuinely nice guy as well, actually.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. But yeah,
what do you have against
I don't like
Min-ji?
Min-ji very much.
What do you have against Min-ji?
The late edition, yeah.
She's just super. I just find her like super fake.
No.
I was just like, I was always so bored when I was watching her and Gwan-hee like interact together. Yeah, she's a good-looking girl, but you're on a show with a lot of other good-looking people. So at this point, you're just gonna go with like personalities. I just couldn't stand her after a little while. She just kept. I think one of the big problems is she kept like fishing for praises. And that kind of really like pissed me off.
Not as much as fucking Gwan-hee though, right?
Yeah.
That guy's fishing his whole life, man.
Yeah. So when you have both of these fucking fishermen together, I was just like, fuck, man. And I was just like, oh my God.
I thought she was really sweet. Yeah, maybe I was fooled by her act, but I thought she was very sweet.
I didn't think I think she acted sweet.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, Thavy. But I think at the same time, she is quite young. So I think she had the right attitude going into a reality show. You know, she's trying to stand out in some way. Yes, she's pretty, but everybody on the show is really pretty. So you know, like she stood out. Like her personality stood out to me, and I think like just her bubbly nature as well. There was a part where Gwan-hee made her cry. And I've genuinely felt bad for her because like she's so bubbly on the exterior. And like you said...
I didn't feel bad. I know what Ty you're talking about. I was like, yeah, just fucking calm down, man.
Yeah, but the thing is like, yeah, she's acting like that. But like inside is probably a really insecure person. And I think that comes across when she like, you know, breaks down after Gwan-hee kind of snubs her in the helicopter.
Yeah.
So do you think she actually liked Gwan-hee? Or was that made up?
I think she liked that he was a professional basketball player for the KBL. I mean, because it's weird because she comes on late to the show and she has a chance to choose two guys of her choosing, right, to take to Paradise. She doesn't have to earn it at all. She decides to take Jin-suk and Min-woo. Jin-suk because he came across as the most approachable in their short interaction, and Min-woo because he was aesthetically her ideal. But then she kind of takes a left turn and goes for Gwan-hee all of a sudden when she gets back. It's a little odd. I mean, he is charming, so probably he did charm her. I think out of all of the guys there,
off camera,
I could totally see Gwan-hee being her favorite. I don't know whether that equated to real feelings, but like I said, she's a pretty young woman, so I think in that situation, you know, it's quite easy to get emotional.
Yeah, she was like a puppy dog, like around him. Maybe that goes to her youth, her immaturity.
Because I was gonna ask you now, like, what you thought of her, because I thought like you would have picked up on, I don't know, I'm not gonna say like fakeness, just kind of, like. A little bit like it was a bit too much, I thought, the cuteness. I mean, again, like I'm not critiquing them as people, except maybe Gwan-hee. But like,
I don't think that guy's acting that much.
I think these are all people who are on a show, and you are playing a character regardless. I mean, if it's reality TV, it's even more of a character. And they're obviously, cameras are watching like them all the time, so you are gonna put on an act of sorts. So it is just, I'm gonna say, like, her character on the show I just found very annoying. But again, like I saw her too much more as a character rather than if I was watching someone like Hae-sun. I kind of feel like, I think she'd be like that normally as in real life. So I don't know, I just didn't like her
bit
very
too
much.
fake for Thavy. What do you think, Nat?
I chose to believe it. I believed it. I reckon Hae-sun and Ha-jong, so the two other girls that had relationships with Gwan-hee, they're probably more mature. Hence, they both confronted Gwan-hee when he started to mess them around. Whereas
Yeah.
Minji, she's probably, maybe it comes to a lack of experience. Lack of life experience.
How young is Minji? I didn't remember.
I think Minji and Hajong are actually the same age, maybe like around 26-ish.
You can't be. 26 is not young.
It's pretty young, Thavy.
It's young, but like...
No, you're right. It's not, 26 is...
It's not... It's the end of your mid-20s, man. You know, you'd have some
So she should know better.
By this point.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm not saying she should know
think
better.
about you at 26, Tom. What were you doing at 26?
I was in Japan causing a ruckus. That's what I was doing at 26.
Yeah.
and drinking my life away. Yeah, that was, I mean, in hindsight now, you might be right. I was a pretty immature 26-year-old. And arguably still an immature 34-year-old at this point.
Not as immature as Gwan-hee is, I would say. Gwan-hee is 36 years old. He's like, basically our age. I can't imagine somebody our age acting the way that he does. And I honestly, I don't understand how he's gotten to this point in his life.
He gets put on for the show.
I mean, he must put it on a bit, but it also seems very genuine the way he acts. Like he was even getting under some of his traits were getting under like the commentator's skin as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Lee Gwan-hee genuinely didn't like him very much.
There was a few points where they're just like, nah, I don't like him.
Yeah.
Because he kept flipping and flopping, right? Between his preference of female. And then he kept asking the girls about do you like me? But what about you,
He's constantly
Gwan-hee?
looking for validation, yeah? That's like the most annoying thing. And it got to the point where like the commentators were just rolling their eyes at every question he asked. Because every second fucking question was like asking the girl,
how do you feel about me?
Yeah. What if we went to the island and you had to go with someone else? What then?
Because like
fucking shut the fuck up, Gwan-hee.
when we prefaced the episode, how I said this is probably the best and worst season because in the sense that it is a reality show, it's fun to watch, I guess, but it is super frustrating to watch as well. Yeah. And the fact that Gwan-hee was my least favorite person from the get-go.
And he leaves with your favorite person. Leaves the island.
The thing, I was torn. I mean, I guess, he leaves with Hae-sun. Because I really wanted, like, Hae-sun to get picked, but also not want to get picked. Because, like, I mean, do you really want to stay with Gwan-hee? Because he's a bit of an immature prick, you know? Yeah. I just wanted her to get picked because I just wanted her to win because I didn't like Minji. So, and we already knew by this point that Hajong was not going to get picked. So that actually was a really good climax.
I was shocked. Yeah. I thought he was going to pick Minji because she was the most
I thought he was
like.
Pick Minji too.
She just followed. She just followed him. Didn't stand up to him.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, between the two choices, there was Minji and there was Hae-sun. I think Minji plays on Gwan-hee's ego, and he's got a pretty fucking big ego. So that's a pretty powerful position to be in, is the girl that's always like, going to stroke his ego. But Hae-sun, I feel like Gwan-hee liked Hae-sun more, like genuinely. So I feel like at the end of the day, it was a battle between his ego and his heart. I would have expected him to choose his ego because I don't like the guy. But I think the fact that he chose, Hae-sun, the girl that he actually had feelings for, I think that is a pretty good ending to this season. I don't know if he earned that good ending, but, narratively speaking, it's a good ending. Yeah.
I mean, like, he does come out and say that he's a flawed person. Whether that excuses what he does or not is a different story. But at the end of the day, it does feel satisfying unless you follow what happens post the season. They're not together anymore. No. But at that point, it's like, it's fine. It's it did have, like, I guess, a payoff of sorts.
It's weird because the second season had a pretty, like, K-drama friendly ending as well. Like she ended up choosing the nice guy rather than the player, Dex.
The player guy, Dex, But I liked both of those guys,
At the time, I was like, oh, that seems really contrived, actually. Like, I didn't really enjoy it. But this season, I was into it.
So it was the right outcome, you think, for Gwan-hee? He went with his heart, which was
It was the right choice, I think, to make him seem like less of a shit bloke. I still think he's a pretty
But
shit
like
bloke.
throughout the episodes or towards the end, he's discovering himself. Is that fair? After all the females have given him feedback, he's understood that he can't treat women that way?
I would really hope so, Nat. You know? But I don't know
It's like a
about
coming of age.
Because right until the end, he's still doing the same shit. He's still asking for validation at every turn. It's just he was really frustrating to watch. But, you know, I couldn't take my eyes off him.
Yeah, I mean, the only times, as I said, I just found the interactions with him and Minji just very, like, I was on my phone during those times. But I liked him chatting with Ha-jung. I thought those were fun interactions. But yeah, just, I don't know. It's compelling at the very least. And I guess like the other contestants didn't really give that much. I mean, as you said, like the games weren't particularly exciting. There was like the ass dipping game, and then there's the running.
You know what? We haven't talked about him, but Won-ik, he's really good at games. He was unexpectedly good at games.
What did
Uncle number one. So he's a realtor by profession, and he's pretty like slim compared to the others. I think he's not like physically imposing in any way, really. Yeah. But he wins a game where they have to do squats while holding the girls.
Yeah, that's what we call the ass dipping game.
How did he win that?
It's hard to do, man.
How did he win that?
Well, he was holding one of the lighter girls.
Okay.
But that probably helped. But he's a strong bloke, man. He did pretty well in the running thing as well.
Yeah, Gwan-hee won that one though. Yeah.
Yeah,
by far, didn't he?
By far.
Yeah.
Poor Jin-suk.
That cardio, man. That cardio.
Nah, man.
That's good for the LG sakers. So.
In my eyes, Jin-suk won that. He won that relay.
By giving up.
Dead last. he has an injured knee, man.
He had a bum knee.
That body is not built for running. Look at him. It's like a fucking Geodude.
He has a really funny run.
It's built for baking and like whisking eggs.
If we go to Korea, we'll go to his cafe.
I want to go. He's got a few.
We'll stick a camera in his face, just really get under his skin. Yeah.
It's probably it probably boosted like the sales of his business.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Singles Inferno. I mean, that's why you go on a show like this, especially for someone who has a business like that. Yeah, it's really good publicity. It's probably why maybe he had the same look. Is like, if I don't get anyone, it doesn't really matter because I've just got my business, you know. But he ended up with Min Young, and I liked Min Young. I thought she was nice.
I don't like Min Young.
I don't like Min Young.
I don't like Min Young. First of all, she's a Pilates instructor. She should be winning every game. Where's your core strength, Min Young?
Yeah. She lost. She got dominated
goes out like
by,
a punk.
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't really like how she treated Jin-suk. So I guess the narrative is they coupled up together pretty early in the show. And then Jin-suk makes it clear that you're the one for me, right? And then Min Young doesn't really like that because it kind of, like in the eyes of the other guys, it makes it seem like she's taken.
I remember that.
So she's kind of like pushes Jin-suk away a bit. And she talks to Jin-suk. She's like, yeah, can you actually not do this, not be so open about our relationship? And then Jin-suk kind of gets it, and he ends up going on a date with Minji. And then after that, Min Young kind of just latches onto him and won't let him go. I don't like that.
I think the game changer was the candy game again. So Jin-suk put his one candy in Min Young's letterbox. Yeah. And Min Young didn't return the candy. She put it in other guys' letterboxes. So she was like, I want to hang out with other guys and meet other guys. And Jin Sok was like committing to this one girl.
Yeah.
And then he was
right.
very, I don't know, I got a sense that he was like resentful to her for the rest of the series.
Yeah. Well, I think he was probably turned off a bit by that kind of behavior. I mean, like, I can kind of see both of their positions, but I just don't like, Min Young kind of like, nah, fuck off. And then when she has no other prospects, actually, I'm a latch on to you now.
I think that's how they ended up back together. They're just like, we didn't end up hitting off with anyone else.
And he didn't seem like he was into her anymore, but like, again, she just kind of wouldn't let him go, and then they end up like leaving the island together.
Yeah, probably.
So, I don't know. It's kind of a,
Are they still together?
Ending.
Yeah. No, probably not.
Possibly. I think there are hints on social media that they might be, but who knows, really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing your notes here about how fans were like calling Haesun a traitor because she posted something with Wonick, but then then it was revealed that they broke up, because I think she's like in Edinburgh at the moment, like studying
abroad.
Yes. Being smart and all that.
So
shit.
she was receiving some backlash from that video, and that prompted Gwan-hee to release a video on social media explaining that he and her were no longer a couple due to the long distance thing. So
would you be that surprised though? Like I kind of had an inkling, if it wasn't then, when,
So do you think any of them are still together? Any of them like long term potential?
I think only one couple. I don't know who, but I think I heard from someone that it's just one couple. I don't know which season that are like still
across
together.
all the seasons.
Across all the seasons, yeah.
That's a pretty poor success rate.
Yeah, I don't see.
I don't think
a Single Inferno
this is the show for it.
Yeah, because it's a show. Like, it's in the word itself. It is all for show. At the end of the day, it's a job. They get their publicity. They get their Instagram followers up, and then they kind of just move on.
I think it's also they go on this show and their popularity kind of skyrockets after the show is finished, right? So they get like super busy after the show, which probably, and like this is like their 15 minutes of fame as well. So they really got to capitalize it and get to work on their brand. So it probably leaves little time to actually have a relationship.
Yeah, and you're only on there for 8 days, right? You can't.
Something like that,
I read that it's very short, so it's not a lot of time to build a relationship. Hey, Won-ik, he's a realtor. Do you think he's getting more business?
Probably.
So, I want to fucking...
I'd go look at a house with him.
Yeah, I want to inspect houses with that guy.
I'd ask him his fitness routine. Do you reckon watching shows like this make you want to take better care of yourself? Or is that just me?
Not really. I don't know. But maybe you got
we've been going to the gym, haven't we, Thavy? So we've been all working out a little bit. So maybe this is what started it.
That's not due to Single Inferno. A show like the Physical 100 makes me want to get fit, but not this show.
Physical Bear.
We should cover the second season of that, Mum. We didn't watch.
That was a fun show. Yeah,
that was a really fun show.
I loved Physical 100. I was so obsessed. The
Talk about dramatic.
We'll bring you on to the Physical Bay season 2 review, because we just missed out on.
I didn't know there was a season 2.
It's coming out this year, I think. It was a show like this, and Physical Bay is like bread, like, for Netflix. They earn so much money. It's money. It's minimal. I'm not gonna. Singles Inferno is pretty minimal effort if you think about it in a technical standpoint. Physical Bear is harder because you have to build sets and you have to come up with the games. Whereas,
you got to get 100 buff people. That can't be easy, even in Korea.
They couldn't do it. They got like foreigners as well, so
but they lived in Korea. That counts.
Yeah. But Singles Inferno banks entirely on your cast of people. As much as I don't like the guy, they got really lucky with Gwan-hee.
Made this season.
Yeah, otherwise it would have been a pretty boring season to watch. But I mean, I'm just trying to think of season 2, and I don't really remember.
Well, season
much.
2 had Dex. Dex was
Dex
pretty
was
big
cool.
draw card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cool.
Dex was great as a commentator this year.
Yeah, good insights, I think.
Yeah.
Just that, he can put himself in their shoes pretty easily, having been there himself. Pretty good addition. You think he'll be back for season 4?
Please bring him
maybe.
back.
Yeah.
Please bring him back.
Chuck Gwan-hee on the panel.
He's like, you fucker. Yeah, he probably would have been retired then. I mean, 36 is not young. Still playing basketball.
Has anyone watched his basketball?
I think most of the cast of this show has watched his game now. He's pretty old for a basketball player, I'd say.
Yeah.
He'd probably be around retirement age now. Maybe that's his play. Maybe he's looking for a side a retirement plan.
This is like his retirement tour, right?
Yeah, he's pretty entertaining. So, and I think he can talk. I think he's pretty good at speaking. So yeah, he'd probably end up on, if not this show, a show like this,
or Physical 100.
He might. Wasn't there a Singles Inferno person on Physical 100?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't remember
his name.
A backup dancer, maybe? Can't remember. But he did pretty well on that show as well, on Physical 100. Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah.
More crossovers between the two shows.
And maybe shorter episodes. Like some episodes were like
the episodes still felt really long.
Oh, man. I came up with the theory that they are padded out that long on purpose because people love Singles Inferno and you have to watch the whole thing. So the longer you are watching an episode, the better it is for the Netflix count. So if anything, we're going to be getting 2-hour episodes, I reckon. And it's just going to take a much longer to binge watch them.
Yeah, it's not that easy to watch. I think judging from how entertaining this season was compared to the others, probably the strength of this show lies in the drama between the players rather than anything that the show can actually contrive.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is a little bit of contrived drama, but for the most part, I think the drama in this season felt pretty organic compared to the second season especially. So, yeah, I think they just have to get lucky, really, or have just really good casting. I think, obviously getting Gwan-hee was a deliberate thing that they did. And that's a really good decision. Whoever decided on that should be promoted. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how you could improve for next season. I don't know.
Maybe more cooking scenes in the Inferno.
Yeah, put cooking.
I appreciated that.
I like the cooking too. Yeah, more cooking, better games.
The food looked really sad, didn't it? They were just eating carrots and tin chicken.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, you guys got anything else to say about this show? Season 3 of Singles Inferno?
Nah, I think I've exhausted my rants. Fuck Gwan-hee, but his son's cool. Yeah, that's my lasting words.
How about you, Nat?
I think we've said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Gwan-hee came away from this show a bigger person. I hope.
I don't think so.
I hope they all, grew from this show. I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure lessons were learnt. But enjoyable season. Keep it coming, I reckon.
They won't stop making these. There's too much of a community behind them, and I look forward to watching this show now because it means more drinking and more.
This show will only end when they run out of pretty people in Korea, and that will never happen. So they're gonna make it to the end of time, I guess. All right, guys. But what did you think about this season of Singles Inferno? Did you enjoy it? Were we too harsh on Gwan-hee? Let us know. You can get in touch with us at 2asianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok to see what we're up to. Thank you again to Nat for joining us to talk about this show.
It was fun. See you next time.
We'll see you on Physical Bear Season 2 review.
Yeah.
Whenever that comes out. So I think that's a show that I can actually watch on my own. So I can kind of binge it a bit more than Singles Inferno. But thanks a lot for coming on, and thanks for everyone who is listening. Thanks for the Thanks for the support.
Hope you're having a good Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Hopefully you're not being played by your partner like Gwan-hee. But no, keep it real, keep it chill, and
Until next time.
Till next time, guys. See ya.
See you later.
Bye.